Welcome to my series, Diversity and Inclusion in TV, Radio and Film. Each week, I interview a different industry professional about their experiences, their thoughts, their opinions, and their ideas on this very important subject matter. Media companies are facing questions about race, about representation and inclusion, and many are being called out for the lack of diversity in their workspaces. What these media companies need to keep in mind is remaining relevant to audiences and also reflecting a modern Britain which has many different voices, all that need to be heard. And each week, as I said, I catch up with different guests, and all my guests have different backgrounds and come from a wide range of job roles. And talking about guests, let me introduce you to my guest today. She's an editor, and she's worked across a whole host of projects, including feature documentaries, music videos, and she's currently working freelance at Viceland. Welcome, Heliana Trovato. Hi, Heliana, how are you?
Hi, Samina.
Hi. So tell me, what's your experience? First, share with us what your heritage is, and then share with us what your experience has been working as an editor in this business.
Well, I'm from South America, from Argentina. So I studied there and I did my first 6-7 years of work there. And then I moved to the UK only 4 years ago. The experience, at first, I didn't really recognize the lack of women in the media because that was kind of like normal and very, naturalized in a way. Can you say that? So it was normal for a TV channel or for a producer company to have only men there. And then you were like, there was 2 or 3 girls around and that was it. And I never really gave it too much thought at first, and then I started saying like, well, but what's the problem? Why isn't there more any like women editors? But yeah.
And why do you think that is? Why do you think there's a lack of women in post-production?
Because I think it relates to this idea that women are not very good with technical stuff, and they're good as producers, but they're not really good with computers or technology. And it's like, are these archaic ideas that we have for everything? So it's like, oh, women, at some point they were like, oh no, women editors are great because they're more patient and attention to detail and everything. It's like, that's not really a quality of women. That's a quality for people, really.
Well, that's just personality traits at the end of the day, isn't it?
Exactly. It doesn't really... Yeah, it doesn't really have to do anything to do with their gender, but still, like these ideas are there. So I think that's one of the reasons why many girls maybe don't go to animation or editing or those things, and they do go to like art departments or production or those things.
Yeah, and I have to say, production has better representation of women than post-production, and it's a real shame that people don't think women can be techie, which is just a nonsense. Because actually, I know a lot of women who are very techie, actually, including myself.
Exactly. And it's not really a requirement though, because if the Mac breaks, no one can fix it. You have to go to a shop.
And also, let's face it, in a workplace, if anything breaks down, they have people to fix it.
Yeah, you have the IT guys.
Yeah, I mean, you as an editor, you just got to know your software package and be able to have a good eye to deliver, right?
And you just know the presets and those things. That yes, those are technical stuff, but you just learn it through experience, though. And then if you don't, then you just make yourself a list. I say like, what preset is good for what, and that's it, you're covered.
And tell me, you mentioned earlier, initially, when you began really looking around and going, hold on a minute, there's not that many women. I mean, what was your experience working with male majority teams, and have things changed?
Now they're a bit more, now they're a bit different. I think now you encounter more women around, and that's nice because it feels more normal though. Because it's always weird when you go into a room and it's all guys and you're the only girl.
How does that make you feel? Can you just share with us?
Yeah, it's like anything else really, because everything is male dominated though in this world. So it's kind of like the same thing, just like only in your workplace too. But yeah, it's true that sometimes it's hard to make yourself heard. Like if you have an idea and I say it, maybe it's not going to resonate as much as if a guy says it. And that happens all the time. And you just have to say it again and again and again. And that's it. Because there's not really other way though.
Yeah, you have to make yourself heard at some point.
Yes. Yeah. And handle with care, like fragile egos or something. But that's also like, that's what you do in your normal life.
And I mean, this is not, in any way, shape or form about being anti-men. I mean, this is just about creating equal opportunities in the workplace and opening up arenas which are male majority.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Now you have a camera women. And when I was in university, they didn't let me do a steady course, like those machines.
Steadicam.
Yeah, the Steadicam. Because my weight was below the whatever. It's like, oh, come on, maybe I'm really, really strong though. But that was one of the requirements. I think it was a bit stupid. I don't think now that's going to like play so smoothly though, because the girl would say like, I can do it. Give me the thing, the equipment, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So that changed.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Why presume something about somebody? Just let them have a go and see. And if they do it, great. And if they can't, they can't. It's
because it can be someone really, really big, but then you have to stand with the thing for like 2 or 3 hours. It's not really a given that you're strong.
And working in post-production, what you just described what it's like working in a sort of a male majority environment where you don't always feel like you're heard. With more women coming into the environment, how's that changing things, if at all?
I think it's very subtle. It just feels more normal for me. Like that's the way I see it. Because you have girls and boys, like it's like a normal kind of a combination.
Well, it just reflects the society as we live it. When you go out, you see men and women, and it's not you just see only men in one area of like London or Manchester or whatever, but it's a bit more reflective of how we experience life on a daily basis, right?
Yes, and it feels more natural. And it's like, well, great.
And you mentioned earlier you're from Argentina. So have there been any experiences from coming from a different heritage, for a different background?
Well, people treated me very, very nice here. Only one time I worked in a company that the guy wasn't exactly like a TV guru, though. He just had a lot of money, but still. And at one point he said, well, I don't know how things are done in Argentina, but here we do it this way. And I was like, it's like, first, you don't know how things work in Argentina. And second of all, I've been editing for 10 years. It's not really like a thing. You don't really have like an issue with my work. You're just saying things.
Well, that's a bit unnecessary to bring your heritage or your country into it.
Because you can say the same thing without saying like Argentina.
Yeah,
I could say like, I don't like the way you edit, and that's more valid.
I totally agree. I mean, to bring up somebody's heritage or birth of place or anything like that is just unacceptable. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're happy with my work, great. If you're not, tell me, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And some media companies have adopted like a positive, how do you call it? A positive recruitment strategy where they actively try to encourage more women into the workplace. And it contains like a minimum of female candidates per any job application. I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Is this a good way forward or not? What's your opinion?
I think it's a great way forward. Yeah. Anything that helps a minority is good. And in media, women are still a minority.
Actually, women are not really, global, like societally, women are not a minority. So I don't know why people keep saying we're a minority. in the
well, because
workplace.
in media, in workplaces, we
Yeah,
are.
yeah, but it's I find it quite astonishing that women are still called a minority. Yeah, they're lower numbers, but we're not a minority, you know.
Yeah, well, yes, and I think on the same side, like I think women are slowly getting their places everywhere in the media. Maybe we need the same thing for like a trans girls or something, but yeah, maybe that's the following step.
So for you, a positive recruitment strategy is a positive thing.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other side to that is people are going to say, well, look, you know, if you do that, then are you really going to get the best candidate from the women?
Yes, because the only thing that does is just present the candidate. You're not going to get the job for being a woman. You're just going to be presented as a candidate. And then if a guy is better than you, then tough luck, like, because that happens.
Yeah. And then it comes down to merit. It's like who's got the most experience.
It's only that you have the opportunity to like put your foot in. And then what happens, it depends on your experience, your level, your everything.
And how do you think this industry, and specifically today, I'm talking about post-production. How do you think post-production could encourage not only more women into the workplace, but also people from more diverse backgrounds?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't like in terms of the companies, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't really know. I think it's easier to go to the other side and just not put the responsibility on people applying for jobs, but just like the movement.
How do you mean? Can you expand on that? I didn't quite understand that.
If you do things and you produce things and you take your part in projects and videos and everything, like it's going to organically have more women, for example, in those things. And then inevitably, when they're going to hire someone, the pool of women is going to be much larger. So I think it's going to be easy.
And likewise, diverse, you know, people from diverse backgrounds as well. I mean, personally, I would really appreciate, you know, there's the positive recruitment strategy, that's one pathway, but I think there's other pathways to media companies, because they're powerful, to actively go out and seek people with talent from different backgrounds and communities.
Yeah, and maybe they could do like an assistance kind of like program, and then do well South Americans, Africans, or like whatever continent you want, and then just give maybe more opportunities for that. Yeah, that could be one way.
And you know, for young girls watching today who are probably really, you know, loving editing or are interested in working in this side of TV, radio and film, what, you know, they may be put off by this constant speak of its male dominated environment that could be quite intimidating, or it could be quite off-putting in some way. I mean, what would you say to those girls watching today?
What I say is the world is male dominated and we still do things. So yeah, don't be intimidated by that. If you like editing, go edit. We can do the job as well as anyone else. The only fact that they've been like men were in the business for a longer time doesn't really mean anything. And you have great editors, women and men and everyone. It's like, just pick whatever you want and go.
And actually, just to wrap up, I'd just like to go back to the point you made earlier. It just came into my mind, you know, about the guy who made reference to your Argentina and your heritage. Were you able to respond to him, or do you think, so what do you think about that, where there isn't that avenue to speak up because the fear of losing your job or anything else, or being uncomfortable in a workspace?
My problem was that I blanked at that moment, because it was so surprising though. Like, luckily I haven't been around those kind of people a lot. So that took me by surprise. And I was like, and I couldn't really think of anything smart to say in the moment. But yeah, I don't know. I think it happens all the time. And it just, I think the world is more friendly now also in that aspect. I think people don't get away with saying those things so easily. So I think like history is a bit more on our side. So we should take not really advantage of it, but yeah, take that into account and just try to deal with them as good as you can.
Well, I like your positive attitude and a responsive attitude. It's inspiring. Heliana, it's been really great to have you share your experience working in post-production. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'd love for you to be a part of the conversation. So if there's anything, comments or opinions you have on what we've discussed today or in any of my interviews, then please feel free to message me, and you can contact me and get more details of my series by following me across my social media platforms and on YouTube. Many thanks for watching, and I look forward to your company again soon.